Hello and welcome to the first ever Magic Emporium review. Today we're going to review two products. One is the static marker by Wonder Makers, and the other one is Scorpion by Bobby Motta. I think that's the way you spell it. So the first one we're going to review is going to be the static marker. Now I do realize that somebody already did it. I know Xavier Spade already talked about it, and although I do agree with some points, but I also disagree on a couple of different points. Now, before I start the reviews, all I want to say is all these devices, all these gimmicks, all the magic tricks, they're all bought by me. Nobody gave them to me, or I'm not sponsored by anybody, and so this is my honest opinion about them. Now, I'm not a professional magician or a professional mechanic. I'm more of a hobbyist. I enjoy it, and I do spend a lot of time. And my friends are very, very skeptical. So every time before I perform this anything in public, I perform first to my friends, and they're very, very skeptical. Although they're not magicians, they're dubious about everything. So everything that I try to do, most of the times impromptu. Most of the times based on card magic. 90% of my acts is around cards. I do have a couple of things that are not card related, but very, very, very little. So we're gonna start with the static marker. First thing, so this is the box. You know, it's quite a nice box. You kind of have like a magnet here that keeps it safe. So just open like that, and I'm just going to cover this. So see if I can. And here, as you open the box, you get their website, one in English and one in Russian, where you can get tutorials. And tutorials are very well filmed. They're in HD. Very, very well shot, and they teach you a couple of routines that I think, if I'm correctly, is about 5 or 6. One of them is the actual static electricity. You can check all this stuff on their trailer. The other one is the floating ring, then the kind of jump off the bill, and then you have as well define the card. And I think there could be a couple of more, but I can't now at the top of my head. I can't remember. But anyway, this is the static marker. As you can see, there's no batteries or anything like that. It does look like a normal Sharpie. You can write it with it, so it's quite well made. The price of it, if I remember correctly, it's $29.95. Plus, shipping, whatever, unless it offers free shipping. I do recommend people to sometimes check up eBay, because that was actually where I got it, and it was the cheapest that I could find. Mainly because you have magic shops actually do sell on eBay, and their prices are actually cheaper than if you buy directly from the shops for some reason. But anyway, so this is the marker, and you get this pouch here, which allows you to fix the gimmick. Now, it's $29.95, and it's a little bit, I think, pricey in one way. I think the fact that you can actually fix it at home, and on the video they show you not only how to fix it, but also how to get the parts, and you can fix this yourself for free. So as soon as you spend your, roughly $30 or 30 euros on this, that's it. You won't have to spend any more money on refills or buying this again, unless you're constantly. I would say if you're constantly writing with this, you'll probably run out of ink. So my advice is to do like Sharpie changes if you can. And I think this is best, to be honest. If you're doing a couple of routines where you have people signing cards, and you're already introducing the Sharpie, I think it's a much stronger effect than just kind of go, look, I have a Sharpie here, and now I'm going to do a couple of things. I don't think that's a great way of doing it, and I think that's when Xavier I could be wrong, but I have the feeling that that's when Xavier was reviewing this. I think that's his idea, that if you kind of went just oh, here's a trick, it doesn't have that much of a strong effect. But I do think that if you introduce this a while and people are actually used to sign their card and all that type of stuff, that it's a much stronger effect. Now that brings me to another point. You have a couple of effects with this that they teach you, and they teach you really well. But I honestly only think the only ones that are strong and that you can actually use them, it's the static, the actual electricity that you get on your hand, or the impression of static on your hand, and the bill pop-up. I think the other effects, the one of finding the card, there's too much that could go wrong. I think I think the gimmick could maybe snap, maybe that won't happen, but I think there's better effects than that. And I think the floating ring as well, the way that the ring is, I don't have one here at the moment, and I'm not going to show you how this really works for obvious reasons, but the ring is not in the center like that. It's kind of more to one side. And like, I think if you have people that are very skeptic, they'll want to check this marker. Now you can snap the gimmick and break it and give somebody for examination, as it says on the video, and then you can just rebuild it, and it's very, like I said, it's very, very easy. But I think as effect is not great. I think the best effects is the bill popping, like popping out, and the actual electricity on your hand. Again, but the effects by themselves alone, maybe they're not that great. I think if you put it in a routine, I think they can be quite strong. I have a whole routine surrounding electricity. I won't say what it is. I have a whole plot. I have cards, and that's why I bought this, because I thought that was a cool addition, and it is a very good addition. Like, and let's be realistic. If you're not going to perform this for magicians, you're going to perform this for your normal folks or normal laymen. Because if you perform this for magicians, they'll know that something's up with the marker straight away, and they'll want to see it, and they'll cop onto it. So if you perform this for laymen, I think is quite powerful. Some of the effects, mainly the shock and the bill popping. The other one, I think it has a bit too much that could go wrong. You're not getting the gimmick to work properly. Now, this is another thing, is like, is instant reset, so there's no massive preparation for it. So it's for me, it's a big plus. So I wrote down kind of the way that I do this. So I'm gonna rate this from technically, so how hard it is to handle and stuff like that. It's really easy to handle. I think anybody, even starting in Magic, can do all of this stuff. So I give it a 1 for being incredibly easy. Then as an impact, I think if you perform by itself, it's about very low impact, so it'll be like about a 3. I think if you put it in the middle of a routine, I think it'll be about a 5 or a 6, because like I said, if people are used to having this in their hand, and I think that's where me and Xavier disagreed. Now, like I said, I'm not a professional or anything like that. I'm a card magician and mechanic, but I don't do it professionally. I do it as a hobby. But I do think that there is a place for it. I think it can have a bit of an impact. Is it a massive impact? I don't think so. I think it's just okay. I would say as an impact, like I said, if it's by itself, about a 3 or a 10. If it's in the middle of a routine, I'd say about a 6. I think you'll actually get a good bit of bigger, because if, like I said, if people are used to holding the Sharpie, and then all of a sudden you come out and you do the routine, I think that it's a lot more interesting. The construction of the gimmick is very good. So again, like it's very easy as well to fix it. There's no refills, which is great. The video quality, like I said, is amazing. It's quite very well shot. There's no complaints there, so it's very, very good. practicality of this is, again, it goes back into the impact, I think, but it's, you know, very easy to handle and all type of stuff. So once again, I think you know, give it about the 6. Bank $4, so you know, it's 30 euros, or you know, or 20, I think it's 29.99 to 29.95, something like that. Depends from websites to websites. It's, you know, pretty much what you're getting is like roughly 2 good effects and a couple of other crappier effects, let's call it that. 30 euros, I don't know, I think maybe around 20 bucks I think will be better, but so, you know, it just depends how much really worth you know, spending. But I think it's okay, like, you know, I think $20 or $25 maybe it'll be a better pricing. So I think an overall, I'd say it's just about the 5 or a 6. From 1, if I was going to rate this from 1 to 10, it's about the 5 or a 6. You know, I think you can a 5 if you're not just do it by itself, and a 6 if you put it in a routine, and if you have a plot for it. Because I think if you just do this by itself, I don't think it's really worth it.